Hello, my God, Colin. We're here live, the Arca Saving Waianae 96792, live for all of you here in Waianae, here for the listeningtour.org. You can follow us online. We're here on the Facebook live stream, Pikachu, ShelbyBillionaire. Thank you for all you guys watching. Here on Facebook, we're going to send out to YouTube, Instagram. We got Garner Shimizu, Reverend David Outcoast, Elijah Perrick, Diamond Garcia, Chris Smoker, right here, live streaming for all of you guys. We don't have as much full house to be able to manage the court, but we have free musubis outside. So come check it out. Some snacks, some goldfish and chips. So you're gonna come check us out. We're gonna be starting soon for all of you guys and girls out there. There we go. We got Morocco right there. We'll be leading this. Diamond Garcia right there, and we're definitely gonna address human trafficking, drug smuggling. But just let you know in advance, the new Republicans, because of second legislation, they can only write 10 bills. That means when David Outcoast says his tour in Never Beach tomorrow night, he can only write 10 bills. That means only 10 main topics, and that's it. That's our wonderful Kelly, who did the live stream in Mililani, giving them mics everywhere. We got wonderful staff all around us. Right. Our handsome gentleman right here doing security. There you go. Yeah, you, Chief of War, commander of the court. You can see Chris Morocco's staff right here. Teaser here, gonna run the event. We got our other videographers over there, and since we got time, I guess we're not going exactly at 6. We're gonna go a little mini tour and film for all of you guys and girls. Chee-hoo. Okay, here we go. Now we're ready to go. Good to go.
Oh, good evening, everybody.
Chee-hoo.
We're gonna get started.
Yeah, you.
Come in and take your seats. Oh man, I see some people out here. We'd like to welcome everybody. Of course, we know there's a bunch more coming. Waianae's gift to the world is traffic, right? So we got a bunch of them stuck in the traffic. But a couple of house rules. Please no food or drink while you're in here in those seats. Bathrooms are all behind that door, right outside. My name is Representative Morocco, but I prefer Chris because we're all on the same team. Before we get started this evening, we're going to call out Tanya Kahaina, who's going to start us with prayer.
Aloha everyone. Aloha Hawaiians. Aloha. Aloha. We're going to go ahead and bow our heads and close our eyes. Bow your heads and close our eyes. Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord. We thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, that this is the day that you have made. We rejoice in our God in it. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to host awesome delegates, representatives, men and women who seek your wisdom and knowledge. And we ask that you grant them divine wisdom in everything that they do, Lord. We thank you for the opportunity to come as a community, to allow our voices to be heard today. Let those that are sharing, Lord, share it in grace. Let us remember that they are here to do what you've called them to do for such a time as this. So, Father, we thank you for peace upon the atmosphere. We thank you for guidance upon our leadership. And we thank you that joy reigns in this room. We love you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Rep. Chris Morocco.
All right, before we get started, I just want to welcome some of our special guests. We have our Senator Samantha Nicor.
Unlimited bill writing ability.
Our wonderful neighboring district, District 44, Representative Darius Kima.
Woo-hoo! Chair of DOT.
All the wonderful people of our wonderful district. Also known as the best district in the state.
Yeah, you. 96792 in the house.
Okay, aloha mai kapo, aloha.
Hey, aloha.
My name is Christine Satelli, and I have the honor and privilege of being your moderator for this evening. If you folks
Tough
have
job.
a difficult time, I just want to share, we're going to be operating off of this screen only. So if you need to come up, no shame, just come a little bit closer. Unfortunately, these other screens are a little misleading, so they're not operable tonight. We're just going to be working off that single screen. So if you guys need to move closer, move up by all means. But I love what Tasha was sharing earlier. Tonight is aloha. Give aloha, you can get aloha. Yeah. So I hope that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the evening. Thank you so much for coming to our listening tour 2025. Tonight's a very special night, and we're flipping the script on our traditional town hall. And really, it's all about listening to you. You all are going to drive the direction of tonight's conversations, and we have really something special in order to do that. To ensure that every voice is heard, we're going to be using an interactive component. So I know everybody's got their smartphones, you guys got your devices handy, so we're going to keep that out through the remainder of the night, and we've got more information on that to come. But the purpose of tonight really is to gather all of the data and information as much as possible to craft the 2026 Republican Caucus package for the upcoming legislative session. So without further ado, let's get the evening started. I want to invite each of the representatives to please introduce themselves and the districts that they're representing this evening.
We got
Aloha Kako.
Aloha!
From District 42, representing Kapolei, Ho'opili, and
Diamond Garcia.
Mahalo for being here.
Chee-hoo! Eva Beach.
Julie Reyes Oda, representing District 40, Eva Beach.
She actually speaks.
Good evening once again, Representative Morohoka. I get the proud privilege of serving the best district in the whole state of Hawaii.
Yeah, you, Chris!
Aloha, my name is Elijah Perrick, and I get to serve Eva Beach, Waipahu, Kuni, Honolulu, and Waikele.
Bro, you get choke fires.
Aloha, I'm Representative David Elkos. I serve part of Eva Beach, Ocean Point, Colina, part of a little piece of Colina. Darius has most of it, I think. And Campbell Industrial and Roberts Point. Aloha, guys.
Aloha, my name is Representative Joe Gideon, newest member of the team. I represent District 18, Hawaii Kai, Kalama Valley, and Port Locke.
Joe! He replaced Gene Ward, if you guys didn't know.
Aloha, everyone. Representative Garner Shimizu,
Shimizu.
District 32, Central Oahu, which is 4th Chapter, Moana Loa, Red Hill, Halawa, Lower Aiea, Pearl Ridge, Aliamanu,
Pikachu graduated from
Village,
Aiea High School,
Wasium.
just to let you all know.
So, glad to be here in your beautiful country.
Yeah, you. Our country. This is at the office elections meeting. Here we go.
Matsumoto is unfortunately under the
Laura?
weather this evening, so she sends all of her aloha to you.
She can watch my live stream.
I also want to be mindful to introduce and thank our staff and our volunteers who are here with us this evening. Mahalo so much for taking the time, all of our volunteers, especially those from the district. And a big, big mahalo to Arctic Safety for hosting us this evening. Can you please give honor to the house that we're in this evening, Arctic Safety Mahalo. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, tonight's going to look a little different from the other town halls that you're used to. We're going to be using a platform called Mentimeter. This allows you to participate from the audience. So most importantly, we want to know what you all want to talk about this evening. And that's, again, going to drive the direction of the conversations tonight. So all of your responses is collected as data. And our research team, which is actually functioning live tonight that we'll be referencing throughout the evening, is going to collect that data, and it's going to help validate the bills that will be drafted by my office. I'm sorry, I didn't truly introduce my role. I'm part of HMIR, which is the House Minority Research Team, and I moonlight as a...
She helps write the bills.
So we do what we need to do. So all of the data we will receive in our research office, and that again is going to validate the bills that we draft for the upcoming legislative session. But for more information on how tonight's interactive survey is going to work, please, I want to direct your attention to the screen. Take a look at this. Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the 2025 listening tour. We will begin shortly, but before we start, there's something very unique for those of us here tonight. It's designed to make sure that you are heard. There's an interactive survey open only to those in the room. It provides us with data that reveals what you want to talk about tonight. It's so easy, even a kid can do it.
Oh, hey everyone, it's me. Okay, let me show you how easy it is. Follow these steps. Scan the QR code on your screen.
Wi-Fi internet
The camera will
connection.
find it.
Somebody paid for it.
Open in your browser.
See that?
Tap the button and it'll take you to our interactive survey.
Now, choose your top concern. You will only be able to choose one.
I know, right? There's so many to choose from. Don't stress, there'll be plenty of opportunities to discuss other concerns tonight. Remember, this first survey helps us know the temperature in the room.
Okay.
Now, it's possible that we won't get to your concern tonight. However, we will be contacting you to follow up on the things that matter to you.
Yay!
Not to mention afterwards, all of the reps are here to listen directly to you too.
Hello? Are you listening to me?
So scan the QR code on the screen right now. We also have our staff circulating to help you out. Come on, even a kid can do it.
Hey, you in the back. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Scan the QR code and let's get going.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Did you get started? Scan that QR code.
Come on, people. Cha-cha.
All right, it looks like we're about to get started.
We're flipping the script. Starting now.
Oh, hello, Olivia. Hello, Olivia.
Okay, so we're going to get started. As you
She got
can see,
bribed
the
with
QR
Chuck E.
code is up. You can begin to scan. Again, like the video mentioned, we do have staff that are around. If you just flag us down, it's everybody with a lanyard. They'll help you get connected. Some of us need a little bit more tech support than others. But we're going to try and focus on keeping our program to 7:30 tonight. So it's going to be jam-packed, and the reps will certainly be available for questions,
Hour
comments,
15.
whatever you want to share with them following the program tonight. How's it looking? Everybody getting started? Yeah. Okay, so once you see the green arrow on your phone, that means that you're all set. You don't need to worry about anything else. Don't touch anything. Sit tight. While we get everyone connected to the QR code, I want to remind us that we can stay connected to all the things that are happening on the caucus. For more information on our website, you can go to HawaiianHouseGOP.com. We have our frequently published Republican report there. We have our weekly radio show called The Right Side, which airs weekdays from 4 to 5 p.m. And if you want to get involved in the legislative process, if you go to HawaiianHouse.GOP, we have links on how to sign up for hearing notices, how to testify, how to track measures. All of those kind of tutorials are available. So HawaiianHouseGOP.com. I think we're just about set. Anybody else still working? I think we're Makoka, we're good. Okay, let's go. We're gonna go first with a little tester fun question. All of your screens should be updating automatically. Here's the question. You have 2 free hours on Saturday. How are you spending it? So all you have to do is just, see, look, so easy. Some of us are napping, some of us are beaching, I would be binging. So this is kind of how tonight's gonna work. Pretty fun, pretty entertaining. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, it's our participation count. So we want to bump that number up as much as possible. So if you still need help getting connected on Menti, we can certainly help you with that. Okay, what's in the lead? 36% of you are spending the time at the beach. 2 free hours. Okay, 2 free hours, I cannot even get my kids dressed to go to the beach, load up the car. So you must not have all the kids that I do. I have worked in 2 hours to just trying to eat breakfast. But I would love that ideally to go to the beach. Okay, so that, as you can see, that's how this evening is going to work. It's going to be jam-packed with a whole bunch of interactive questions. All of your responses will be
kind of far
counted.
away.
And we're going to be going back and forth
sides
between
of
this
it.
platform here, Mentimeter, and live questions from the audience, commentary that you might have. We have 2 staff members. If you could raise your hand. Where are you, Kelly and John? Kelly is going to take care of this side of the room. So if you have questions and comments throughout the evening, you can flag her down, and then John is going to take care of this side. So they're going to be our mic holders. On that note, let's talk a little bit more about what we can expect.
No more just
on
human
the
trafficking,
evening.
drug smuggling right
If you
away.
want to make
As soon as they give you the mic.
like I had said, you just flag down our staff. One of those staff, our John and our Kelly, are going to come directly to you. They're going to hold the mic while mindful of others, because there are many of you, and I'm sure you have lots to say. No more than 60 seconds if possible. We want to ensure that everybody is heard. And if you're not comfortable speaking on the mic, not to worry, we have these comment cards that maybe you picked up on the sign-in desk. You can fill it out, questions and comments, and on your way out, just drop it off at our sign-in table, and we're going to follow up with you. Okay, so as mentioned, our interactive survey is going to drive tonight's conversations, and you guys are going to make the decisions on what to talk about first. So let's get started. We're going to start with our first question. We want to know about what you want to talk about first. What is the issue you want to talk about first tonight? That's our first question. So you can see the multiple choice. We tried to be as exhaustive as possible, listing the things that are important to you. I see cost of living, crime and public safety shooting up there, and my eyes are the young and younger.
I can't even see it from here. 25, 22, 33.
I'm seeing the fluctuation. Okay, cost of living and definitely crime and public safety look like top priorities. So
homelessness.
we're going to actually go topic by topic. So there will be another opportunity, and we recognize that a lot of folks are probably still in traffic, making their way down. So this is not the only thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about one thing first. We're going to expand for maybe 20 minutes, and then we'll ask you guys again, what do we want to talk about next? So it looks like we're tied right now with cost of living, crime and public safety. Maybe one more person can join in on Menti and break the tie. But we could take those topics in tandem. I mean, truly, if that's what you folks want to talk about.
Sure, why not?
Okay, looks like crime and safety.
Crime, homelessness,
okay,
economy.
32%, 35%. We're going to give it maybe just a few more seconds. Go ahead and lock in your response there. And that will be the topic that we discuss first.
Crime. Houselessness.
Okay. It looks like the results are somewhat plateaued. Okay, I can see that we've determined that the majority of you want to talk about crime and public safety. Of course, that's a very important topic. We want to drive one more question to narrow down what about public safety is most concerning to you. So here's a follow-up question. You've identified crime and safety as a top concern. What particularly worries you about public safety?
Drugs, guns, criminals get away with murder. Is that all quarter each?
Right, there's a lot of
how do you 25 each other?
Drug and substance abuse.
I can't read that for you
of course, is a big issue. Traffic safety.
I might have to move camera
the more
later, sure.
participation that we get, this is all quality.
I can't read that out of how many numbers you got. How many people in your survey?
We're seeing now a greater response in drug and substance abuse.
God.
At
Pikachu's eyes going bad trying to read that shit.
Maybe 15 more seconds for everybody to lock in there. 33%. Yep, still drug and substance abuse. Okay. I think that's going to be that's pretty standard. Okay. So now it's time to toss it over to you in the audience. You guys have made your votes. You've locked them in. What's most concerning to you? Does anybody want to comment on the results that they're seeing on the screen? We want to hear what you have to say. Again, you can flag down Kelly and John. They're looking for those who are ready to go. Anybody have a comment? Right here in the front. You can comment on crime and public safety. You can comment, sir, directly on what you're seeing. Kelly's right there for you. And would you mind introducing yourself to it?
Hello, I'm Austin Salcedo. Drug and substance abuse ties in with houselessness. We don't have a houseless problem in our area. We have a drug problem in our area. It's so evident. And I believe Mayor Blanchard had stated in a meeting yesterday on the news, he stated about his concern about Los Angeles and the Olympics there to be driven our one-way tickets to Hawaii. He's concerned about the houseless population and the amount of this going to be happening in our area. City mayor now is concerned. What about our state governor areas? Are we going to have some type of regulation on our state side of regulating all this type of houseless or even group living facilities. There's no control, there's no way of measuring how much the state is putting into our area, especially on the west side. We have no measurements on the west side of all these group living facilities and such. So how can we remedy this and put an ease to our city mayor's concerns? That's my question.
Thank you so much for the question. One of the representatives, would you like to respond? Representative.
Sure. Well, thank you for the question, Mr. Salcedo. It's always good seeing you. You bring up a good point about other jurisdictions and states and cities sending homeless to Hawaii. This has been a long-standing issue that we've been facing for decades. Other states, other cities do buy one-way tickets. Not all of them, but some do. Buy one-way tickets and send them here. It's a warmer climate, and we're left with the bill, with the medical costs, with the assistance, and all of that stuff. 2 years ago, there was a pilot program that the legislature passed, which set aside $300,000 to start the program of sending homeless who are from the continent back to their families. Now, this past session, there was another bill that came before us, and that was to make that pilot project permanent. Unfortunately, that bill died in its ending stages, so that program isn't going. I know myself and us here, we're going to keep advocating that this coming session, legislation like that actually passes, because we are compassionate. We're all compassionate. We want to make sure that if they're not from here, our resources are going towards Hawaii homeless, Hawaii residents for our local families. So thank you for the question.
And I have another comment right here in the corner.
Ross from Makaha. You know, recently there was a sweep at the beach in Maile, right across from 7-Eleven. And this touches us personally because my daughter has been on the beach for 5 years. And I was talking to some of the law enforcement folks down there, HPD, really compassionate guys. They're really concerned with the job that they're doing. My concern was, and in the case of our daughter, they're active drug abusers. Now, she's working with a couple of different organizations to get her permanent housing, and that may take place really soon. Unfortunately, those folks that were swept off the beach that obviously have drug problems, they have no resource for detox. Now, I'm a recovering addict, 27 years clean and sober, thank you, Jesus. However, detox is an important thing that you need medical supervision for detox. These folks want to detox on their own, it ain't going to happen. What can we do at the state level to encourage more funds for opening detox centers and encouraging these folks to get the help they need?
Thank you so much.
Well, Ross from Makaha, thank you so much for that question. And, you know, my heart goes out to you and your daughter, and I hope she gets the help she needs. You know, I've said this before, when it comes to the drug problem, the homeless problem, I too have skin in the game. My older brother, the guy I looked up to growing up, he too is substance abuse. But I do want to know that out here in Waianae, especially in Waianae, you ask what can happen. We have really, really good programs. I see Jody Kialana sitting over here. I see Sanford Kama. These people represent grassroots efforts, and like you, and like so many other people, these are recovering addicts as well, doing the right thing. So it helps when they talk to these people from a place that they've been. It helps them. And you know, they have programs, so if you need afterwards, maybe get with one of them, or even get with my office. You've been to my office before, and we can help make the connections.
Just one more. Oh, go ahead, David.
I know the state had built some facilities out in town. I know Representative Darius Kila is always trying to build some facilities out here on the west side as well to help our families here. So we are continuing working for our local families out on the west side. So not only having some great facilities only in town, but bringing them closer back to home to help these people out too. So thank you.
Just a quick comment on that. You brought up about substance abuse on the beaches. And yes, there are efforts, and we're going to keep working to make sure that efforts does reach our West Oahu community, but we also have to be mindful that there is bad legislation that's being passed here in Hawaii, which actually enables the problem. This past session, unfortunately, and I want all of us to know this, that this past session, the legislature passed a bill that would give free needles to any drug addict who wants needles. Prior to this bill passing, Hawaii had a program where if you bring a dirty needle in, they will exchange it for free with a clean one. I understand that, you know, there's HIV and there's other diseases that can get transferred from shooting up, but now they're giving unlimited amounts of needles to any person who comes in. That is not helping. That's not empowering. That's enabling, and so we stand against that.
Thank you, Representative Garcia. And before we grab another comment, I'm going to shoot another question up. Who do you think should take the lead in addressing homelessness? Now, this is going to be refreshed on your Mentimeter. While we grab another comment from the audience, go ahead and fill
Governor Josh Green.
Who do you think should take the lead in addressing
ICE,
homelessness?
Homeland
Do you have
Security.
a comment in the back?
I got choke comments.
Kelly, right
In the
here in
front.
front? Yes.
Austin Salcedo. Oh my God.
And you
here we
guys can
go.
go ahead and interact with our survey as well.
Homelessness, houseless. We're not against a lot of the transitional that's coming. What we are against is the aiding and abetting that's going on in our community. Okay, it's the aiding and abetting. They know it's a big problem, but they're not doing nothing. Why? Because with the orphan child, let me tell you, the orphan child is going to speak up. Because a lot of this land is owned by the state. The city leases the land, okay? So the state, remember, the city is your client that's leasing the land, okay? So that needs to be corrected. Because we are tired of everything being pushed on this side. But we want, same thing is good for Kaka'ako Waikiki, we want the same treatment. We want the same treatment. We definitely deserve to be heard. And as for the drug addiction, you're right. We do have the drug addiction. But you gotta remember, if it's a state client, which a state transitional home, if it's a state client, that legislature's a lot of the time they can turn around and get one petition to sign for the client to be in some type of mental health drug addiction services, which Queens Medical Center offers them. You know, and people go look at me, what do you mean a petition? My issue with Bakura got a petition on the fire bond that was a Keao. Talking with Keao, West Oahu. This is not just hearsay. I have the pala. That's been going on for years. Enough is enough. We need the help. But I do have a strong belief. I'm looking at the help here. Straight in front of us. I'm a Democrat, but I voted Republican.
Thank you so much for the comment, and pretty consistent with your results that you're queuing in. Who should take the lead on addressing homelessness? 61% of you said the state government. While we're going to this gentleman, any reps want to respond? Any commentary? Rep Muraoka? And then we'll take your comment next.
No, I think I just love hearing you talk so much wisdom and you talk, you have facts, factual evidence. But I do want to point out one thing when it comes to substance abuse, and Uncle Ross had mentioned this earlier. The only way we can truly help them is they want to be helped. It's the only way we're going to reach them. They got to want the help. Because if not, all we're doing is wasting and burning through the valuable, limited resources that we have. So we need to truly be able to identify those that need the help and focus on that group of people.
Thank you, Representative. And let's take a comment from the audience, and then we'll go to Kelly after.
Hi, my name is Edwin. I thought I would never say this in a room like this, but I'm a chronic alcoholic. I've seen it in other rooms. Please don't laugh, but this is the truth. My brother Ross over there, I call him my brother Ross because he's in recovery, right? I usually don't mention my years of recovery because it doesn't matter. All I got is today. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow ain't here yet, and I can always slip and drop on my face. You know, many people, they think the government is going to solve addiction and alcoholism. No, I mean, I don't hear, I have government this, government that, but I've never heard, right? There's recovery programs out there, if anybody doesn't know. There's 12-step programs. One is an offshoot of Alcoholics Anonymous, which has been close to almost 100 years old, right? And the thing about recovery, people think that if you go into treatment, you're cured. No, that's not the fact. I know. I went to treatment, right? And I've met many people through my years of sobriety that has fallen. Some, they can't live living sober. They can't live in the addiction, so they commit suicide in sobriety. And it's difficult to talk to others like yourself in this room, unless you're like me, right? Again, you're normal people. You have no understanding what I'm talking about. I could be talking in Russian or Swahili. You have no understanding. Yes, you have a brother, but I'm firsthand. And the thing is, sobriety is not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. Treatment it introduces you to others. And that's why people need to, government needs to reach out to these store programs and see how, because unless you know surfing, you can't, and you're not going to relate to anybody who knows ranching, cowboys, right? You only know surfing. So unless you know about living in sobriety, in sobriety, you can't relate to that person who is a practicing chronic like me. I'm just like them. I'm not an ex-chronic. I am a chronic. The only thing different than me today than them, walking around like the Walking Dead, I choose, right? Because my brain is thinking, I choose not to use today. And I can easily go back to that if I do not choose, if I choose to go back to the ice pipe. So thank you for your patience, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say, first of all, I want to give you a round of applause for choosing not to use. Secondly, it takes courage to speak up and admit you have a problem. That's the first step in getting help. Now, I'm a very new freshman representative, and our door, you can imagine people coming in, they want help with money, they want help with this, they want help with that. And because of my lifestyle, how brought up, by dealing with problems, I may not have addiction problems, but I have problems of my own, no different than everybody else in here. And that's why I had pointed out, and I don't want to keep singling them out, they're just sitting directly in front of me, so I'm going to pick on them. When we have help, and we have people like Sanford Kama and Jody Kialana, people who, like you said, exactly what you said, they have lived a life. So when they got better, they devoted their life back to helping people. Because it's so much easier to help somebody from a state of, I know what you're going to, come on, let me help you, versus talking down to people, telling them what they need to do. So, thank you for the courage of speaking up. And my office is always open if you want to come by and talk and get some help.
Thank you very much. And before we grab our next two comments, we're going to go to another question on the mentee. So take a look at your phones. We have the next question queued up, and it has to do with public safety. We're going to continue to drill down a little bit further about which approach should be the top priority in public safety. Go ahead, Ken.
50% together.
Anybody
Penalties for repeat offenders.
Recovery.
The data is
Any kind of recovery, mental health, drug, alcohol, and everything.
Community-based
We
programs
get a
prevent
good
youth
connection
crime,
with these
Hispanic
guys
drug
called
treatment.
Curry 2 Solutions, and they can help. They help in every part of recovery. I used to be an addict. I don't call myself an addict or recovering addict because I walk with Jesus. I walk with victory today. I'm not walking in myself like that, right? So that's what I do. I walk with God. I go out in the trenches where nobody
That
can
don't
go.
make no sense.
I will see everybody from out there, where the people sit. So until you walk their walk, you'll understand what they get. Not all of them drug addicts. You get some, just some bad luck, not working. But like Brother Chris said, if they don't like the help, what can we do, yeah?
So we just walk and we just bring God to them. We show them that they love no matter what anybody else thinks. Yeah? We go out, we show them, and we just coming from that life, we can build a relationship. Yeah? So my cousin, me, and another lady, we've been giving people off island. Treatment is in California. We can we cover the medical, the flights, the stay. So all they gotta be is willing, and we can be there. You know, so if you guys get any questions for us after, me and Jody just can reach out to us.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, John. Would you mind introducing yourself, sir?
Aloha, Wayne here, call. So the question earlier about homelessness, I chose government, of course, but we know it all starts at home. But it's a vicious cycle. The parents cannot be in the house because they gotta work 3 jobs to afford the house they're living in. Something is wrong. I make good money, and I see that price I gotta pay for a house to live in my own Aina is ridiculous. I hear kids making minimum wage. I'm like, bro, you guys not gonna even you're gonna live with your guys' parents for the next half of your life. And when I chose government, I think that it needs to start from the top down. Right now, I see all of these classes, live in Hawaii, invest in building houses and everything. It's our own people. Making the houses expensive because they like be able to afford to live here themselves. So again, it's a vicious cycle. Gotta have some kind of cap or something that we can do to make living in our own Aina affordable. I just read one article about Chan and Zuckerberg making affordable housing in Weinberg. Houses starting at $600,000. You know how much the mortgage is for a $600,000 house? $4,000. Be prepared to work 2 jobs, at least. And guess what? You know who gonna watch your kids? Mobile devices. So right now we get problems compounding problems right now. And it's only gonna get worse. Because the kids is being neglected. And that's why all of those other things, so this question that popped up was perfect. Because it says addressing homelessness and the root causes. All of the problems we encounter in our community all starts from the top. And I'm happy to say that I know several of the people up there on that stage and in this audience that truly love the people and are fighting so we don't have to work 2-3 jobs for live in our own community. I feel bad that my family and my friends gotta move to Las Vegas in order to thrive. Something gotta change. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the comment. And there's certainly the correlation because I believe cost of living came in second place on the topics that we want to discuss. So we're going to have an opportunity actually to flow to the next topic. 39%, I just want to address these results on the screen here. 39% of us said that tougher penalties for repeat offenders would be the top priority in improving public safety. I know many of you may have similar responses or even differing, but let's shift over to what we want to talk about next. And I think you, sir, said it as perfect. What do we want to talk about next? I know that there's that great correlation between public safety and the cost of living. Rex, would you like to comment on anything that you've heard thus far as we get into the next question on your phone is going to be what do we want to talk about next?
Thank you so much for that. It's a tragedy that local people cannot work one job and buy a house here in Hawaii. Back in 1960, that was a year just after statehood, people could. You could work a job and buy a house. That reality is not the same today because Hawaii has an international housing market, which means we have people from the international community, from the continent, coming in and it skews the prices of homes. And all of us here are working on local wages, not able to purchase a home. And so we put forth proposals. And oftentimes those proposals does fall on deaf ears, unfortunately. But that's why we need all of you guys to really get involved in this system, to come down to the Capitol, to make your voice heard, to testify on these bills. For example, I'll give you one example. There is a bill to ban foreigners from buying land here in Hawaii. You guys remember that bill? Over 3,000 people took the time to submit testimony. A few hundred people came down to the Capitol to testify. And the bill eventually died during the session. So, it's an uphill battle, but we are committed up here as House Republicans. We're committed to fighting to make Hawaii affordable for local families.
Thank you. Representative Alcas, do you have another comment?
There was another bill that we put in to tax foreign investors 3 times higher than what we local people got to pay. Why should local people pay just as much tax as foreign investors? I think that foreign investors should pay a higher taxes. If we cannot get them to not invest, to continue, if they still continue buying land here, at least let them pay more higher taxes. There's some kind of bills that we put out there, but like I said, it left from their field. So we can continue to introduce it, and we'd love to hear if you guys have any great ideas on how we can continue pushing more.
Thank you so much, Doug. And so now that leads us directly into what we want to talk about next. You guys have already alluded to it, and it's the cost of living. Nearly 57% of us want to discuss the cost of living. So we're going to have a follow-up question, which is called the word cloud. We're going to narrow in a little bit about what regarding cost of living you'd like to talk about. So check your Menti, check your phone. The question is, what do you want to talk about regarding cost of living? Is it taxes? Is it housing? Is it foreign investment? Whatever it is, we want to hear now to what you think. Yes, this is the word cloud. So it's really fun, it's interactive. You're going to see the most common answer, grow bigger, wages, homes, right? So if more people are locking in wages, that word is going to expand, and that's going to show what the priority is. You can put up to 3 responses. It looks like you can only do 1. Yeah, so just enter 1 word or a small phrase, what you think. Housing prices is growing. Housing, and and we'll have an opportunity to talk more about the things that we didn't discuss that maybe are important to you at the end of the evening. The majority of you want to talk about housing and housing prices. Rex, do you want to comment on what we're seeing on the screen here right now? And we're going to queue up the next question regarding housing and housing prices. Rex.
So one of the reasons that housing prices are so expensive is because of this thing called the Jones Act. We've all tried to co-sign resolutions modifying that, which makes it cheaper to bring building material to Hawaii. That law hasn't changed because the congressional delegation wants it the way it is. And so that's a battle we're trying to fight. You would have more money to buy those houses if you paid less taxes. So we introduced bills and co-signed together to eliminate state income tax, corporate income tax, estate tax, switch the general excise tax to sales tax. And the majority caucus who's in power, they don't let those bills pass because they don't want it to pass. So we're here fighting for houses to become cheaper by getting rid of these taxes, but the system is against it right now.
The other thing with housing prices and stuff is a lack of efficiency of our government. Starting right here at home with our governor on down. My office right now, we're dealing with a really big situation with Uruguay, right? Uruguay is a housing development that was designed to help people get into home ownership. Now, because the state lapsed in their management and they didn't do what they were supposed to, people started buying these places at $50,000 and $60,000, and there's people out there who own 5 and 10 and 15 of them. Now, they turned it into an investment. Now, had the state been doing their job and managing that correctly, that is supposed to be owner-occupancy situations. And Uruguay is just in my district. There's situations like this all around the island. So, a lot of the problems in our state is self-inflicted by our government.
Right before we grab this comment, we're going to throw another question up. This is a scaled question on a scale of 1 to 5. How challenged are you to make ends meet in various areas? 1 being not so much, not a concern, and 5 being nearly impossible to cover these following costs. So go ahead and fill that out, and John, you can have an individual in the front.
Hi, I'm Charlie Tribble. And as there are a lot of problems that are related to education, life safety, emergency response, public safety, job economy, infrastructure, and housing, I want to ask if you representatives are familiar with the Good Neighbor Next Door program that's provided by the federal government, by the HEB. Are you familiar with it? So, for context, essentially it is a program for civil service professionals, teachers, policemen, firefighters, EMTs. All these individuals and a few more are able to receive a 50% discount if they remain committed to their civil servant job. They get a discount on their mortgage and also the buying price. It encourages them to remain in the position to reduce turnover so you don't waste money on resources and training. Why is there not a state-level program to reduce brain drain, a coin term here in Hawaii, to incentivize wonderful certified professionals to remain in Hawaii? Is there a possibility of the state creating a program to encourage more police officers, more firefighters, more EMTs, more health professionals, more teachers?
Thank you so much for the question. Anybody want to take a response to the next question?
Thank you so much for that, man. It's a good neighbor. You said it's a good neighbor? Good neighbor next door. Our research team will definitely look into that and see what we can do as a caucus to advocate for that here in Hawaii. I'm very supportive of housing assistance for those types of people, whether it's mortgage loan assistance, whether it's other type of assistance. We have to protect our first responders, our civil servants, but it's a win-win situation. I haven't heard of that. It sounds like a fantastic program. I'm sure our caucusing team will definitely look into that to see how we can translate that on the state level. So thank you so much.
I do want to mention that there is something currently going on, not on that level, but for our teachers. I think Mililani is the first teacher housing. So there is something like that. But as you were speaking, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I was signaling one of my office ladies to come get your information so we can follow up with that.
Thank you so much. That amazing dialogue, very robust discussion. I just want to address that question that we had, what is the most challenging and what is the least challenging? So it shows that housing, we were the most challenged by utilities, food and groceries, and the least challenging and affordability was childcare, although we know that that's still incredibly expensive. So utilities, housing, groceries are in the top. We're going to go directly into another question now to drill in on that. What is the primary barrier to home ownership? So just give me a second to refresh, and we're going to go into that next question. What is the barrier, the primary barrier to home ownership? Should be coming up shortly. There it is. Go ahead and answer that for us. Do you have any comments in the audience? Kelly will be right with you in a moment. We see 100% of you so far. It might have been just a couple of participants.
Hello, this is Gary Porter. I just want to say thank you for representatives here representing the party of truth and liberty. And all of these issues that have been discussed so far, the solutions are a broad spectrum across the board at the state level. This is a very narrow representative piece of the legislators at large, but where the problem is rests in the executive branch. The reason we don't have solutions is there's no incentives to solve problems. There's incentives to keep people pressed down and addicted to government. So if we're going to see change in this state, all of us in this room have to step up and get engaged in the political process. Register your friends to vote. Reach out. Make sure that they're aware of the issues. Speak about what's really going on. And then show up and vote. We need at least a majority in the House so that we can actually push back on bad legislation coming through the legislative advance of Governor Green's agenda. I'm just going to be clear.
most of these issues have solvable problems. They have solvable solutions. They're not that difficult. They just take courage and clarity. So let's join with these gentlemen, these ladies and gentlemen up here. Let's support the initiatives with the will of the people back in the center place of government. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And you mentioned something that I really want to reiterate. It's about choosing to fix the problem. Yeah. Really simple. I'm sure everybody in here has seen what they did to the stadium, right? Big graffiti. The next day, whether it was state or city officials, sent a crew up there to paint over the graffiti on the very top of the stadium that's going to be demolished. Somebody chose to go do that. Now, that same group of labor, effort, and cost could have went into the complaining of potholes that every one of you drive over every day in front of Kahi Power Plant. It's about choice, you're right. What they choose what they want or not want to do.
I want to go back to this question here. You answered that the primary barrier, or the majority, you feel that low wages and the unaffordability to meet high prices and the cost of living is the primary barrier to home ownership. So while we're going to actually begin to move on to our next topic. So far we've discussed to be expected public safety and crime. We went on to cost of living. Now we're going to go to the next topic that you folks want to talk about, and that's going to pop up on your Menti screen while we take a comment from the audience with them.
Hi, my name is Amy Kitty. I've been here since 1987. So my kids have all been raised there. And part of them went to public school, so part of them were homeschooled because, well, I'm not going to go into that. But one of the big problems we have with this cost of living, with trying to stay in Hawaii, is because taxes, the tax structure as a whole is just so bad. The GET is so aggressive, and I know you've addressed trying to make it a straight sales tax, but most of us in here, I think, are probably spending nearly every penny we make, which means we're paying GET on all of it. And that shouldn't be. That's crazy. Just dumb. I know our property taxes are low, but income tax is high. Our exemption when we file is super low. I know it's increasing, but it should have increased 20 years ago to keep up with what they're doing at the federal level, and even that wasn't adequate until very recently. And that tax structure is just killing everybody. Not just those of us, though. It also kills businesses. When they have a high corporate tax and they're paying GET, even though they can't make any money, they have to cut employees. They have to cut wages. They have to charge more. That costs us money, too. We have to think about the business community. You can't just legislate a bigger minimum wage. That's going to put people out of work. Those of us that run business or have run businesses know that. They don't know that some places in California, but they pass that big minimum wage. How many businesses closed? Same thing in Seattle. It would happen here. So just raising wages is not going to help. What we've got to do is fix so businesses can thrive. Right now, we are rated, we go back and forth between 49 and 50th as a place to do business in the United States, because I track them. We're about 47th so far as housing goes. It is just insane, and until we can fix that, we're going to continue to have brain drain, because those people have enough money to move. Some of us are kind of stuck. We have to stay, and that means it gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
Thank you so much for that. I totally agree with you. I just met yesterday with the Chamber of Commerce, and each year they do those performance reviews for all 50 states, and you're right, we always hover 49 or 50, and guess what? This year we're 50. We're the 50th, which means we are the worst state in the country to do business in, to open a business. It is the most difficult state in the country to operate a business in. And that involves taxes, regulations, but you brought up a good point about taxes and the GET tax. You guys remember in 2022, Governor Josh Green campaigned on this. He said, how about let's remove the GET on food, groceries, and we also, that's a fantastic idea. Well, our caucus has proposed this very same legislation since 1997. And if the bill were to pass, this would save an average family about $600 a year. And that, it seems, well, that's less than $1,000, but that's $600 more that we don't have. And the GET should not be applied on our food, on our medication, on our hygiene products. And we are only one of 13 states in the country that taxes food. So it's about time that our colleagues listen to the proposals coming from the people, from our caucus, and have those bills heard so that we can actually effect change here in Hawaii. But I'll let my colleagues answer it.
Thank you for that question. And you said about business as well. We're sitting in a conference here on the this year on finance committee, and the movies came out, and then they wanted tax credits so that they can keep their families, their business here, and filming in Hawaii still. Unfortunately, they got to go out to different places, doing the mainland Fiji or different places to continue filming, and we're losing our local businesses. Not just our movie business, maybe it's going to hurt our ad, maybe it's going to hurt our local construction company, but we're going to try to keep our businesses here in Hawaii, give them tax credits that they can continue filming and our money continue flowing in the state of Hawaii. And if our movies did well, then why not we try to take taxes at the back end instead of always trying to take them at the front end and hurt the business and not sure if we can thrive or survive. Giving a chance for the people, giving a chance for the local people, not the foreign investors, but the local people that can stay and make a living in the state of Hawaii.
Thank you, Representative Altos. We have two comments in the audience, but first I want to drill down a little bit further on our results that we had. The next topic, which was concerning traffic and infrastructure and emergency preparedness. So we're going to take those next topics, the next questions in tandem, and we'll have a next question generated on what particularly about emergency preparedness and traffic and infrastructure we want to talk about while we get those two comments from the audience.
Charlotte Triple again. When it comes to cost of living, from my study, personal study, is trying to take care of my family. More often than not, the observation is that there is no ability to create a stable, regular lifestyle without being able to own. Meaning, I can build my own equity in my own home, in my own family, keep my paycheck inside of my household rather than paying for rent, as homes are not for business, they're for family. When it comes to business structures, if you can't control the pricing of your product because you're renting your property that you run your business out of, and so it eats into your profit, which means your price goes up, it eats into your profit, so then the rent goes up, and it just keeps on pricing yourself out because you can't own. This addresses leasehold and also inappropriate property ownership, because homes are for families, not for business.
Thank you for the comment. We're going to grab this next one here, and then we can have responses from the reps.
Hello, everyone. Austin Salcedo, the topics that we have over here is the three highest over here: transportation, infrastructure, and the Hawaiian cultural things. Let me explain something on the third highest level. We are in Waianae, Nanakuli has the highest Hawaiian homestead. But guess what? We do not even have a Hawaiian cultural center in the whole island. By having infrastructure like that up in Waianae Valley, large land, they'll eliminate the fire mitigation on this thing, on this large land. And more so, it's going to allow less traffic on Farrington Highway commuting out of our area. 70% of our job is outside, past Colina and over. We don't have employment here, but with the amount of people in the Hawaiian homestead in our area, we're the largest. Why can't we have legislation, have funding for a Hawaiian Cultural Center up in Waianae Valley? We have land, grasslands, dry land, that can be improved for this purpose. Can we have some type of funding for legislation for a Hawaiian Cultural Center, for our Hawaiian cultural arts, agriculture, everything Hawaiian? Can we have that?
For the question, representatives. Go ahead, Representative Alcos.
Thank you for that. 2 years ago, I introduced a bill. Also, the Senate introduced a bill for a Hawaiian Culture Center. That didn't go a long way, but we'll continue on pushing. And I do believe that the Hawaiian Culture Center should have, and maybe we can work, the state, the government can work with the Hawaiians like Ohana or Hawaiian Homes, and together we can work and build a Hawaiian Culture Center for the people.
Thank you, Alcos. I also want to address now, what about emergency preparedness? Do we want to talk about? And it looked like traffic had gotten, well, there were many responses, but traffic was probably touched upon a few times. And so we're going to go to the next question regarding traffic. What solution would you most support to reduce traffic in relationship to emergency preparedness? So we're kind of tapering into infrastructure type question as well, but in regards to emergency preparedness, what solution would you support to reduce traffic? Representatives, do you want to make a comment on our previous commentator? Okay, we'll grab a comment from the audience.
Awareness, preparedness. When we had the tsunami, congestion was really bad. People were stopped completely on Farrington Highway. So if a tsunami came, those guys would have been wiped out. So the communication between the Homeland Security or whoever's supposed to be the number one person, it should be number two, and then somebody taking the place. Because awareness, preparedness, we got to think about this. We are on an island about over 1 million people. You give a category 4, hurricane come in, where are you going to place them? People are not thinking about that. Tsunami is one thing, you still got the mountains to run to. But a hurricane, it can whip right around the island, like a tidal wave. A category 4, where are you going to place the residents? That is a very big concern. We do not have the infrastructure for escape on the west side. They tell us we have to evacuate the whole west side. Come on. What you guys going to do? Put us in the middle of Farrington Highway and let us get wiped out? Treat us the way Waikiki would be treated. Make sure public safety is the number one, and we need to be safe on the whole 96792. So category 4, none of us is safe. That is a big concern about you. Answers, please.
Thank you so much for the comment. And before we get a response, I just want to clarify that question relating to traffic was more general than emergency preparedness, but based off of what we're talking about in the room, our research team has developed a more distinct question regarding emergency preparedness, and we're going to throw it up right now. How would you rate the government's response to a tsunami warning, as we're continuing to touch upon emergency preparedness, and then we're going to get more Owen's response and get our 3 comments from the audience. Go ahead.
You're very right, and I feel like we are blessed to be tested with this, and I do want to say that when it comes to public safety, it's a nonpartisan thing. I'm very happy and very proud to say that Rep. Keela and myself, we just met, and this is something that the community has to do. More importantly, this is something that every individual family needs to prepare for. So often everybody wants to reach out. Somebody come save me. Somebody come save me. What are you going to do to help me? That needs to start at home in the family. There were so many people that were apart. We worked 2 and 3 jobs. And I know some parents who were so panicked because they were on their way home and their children were. So we need to start that planning right here at home in our own families. That's number 1. Number 2, we stay on, government officials, myself and my colleagues, and everybody else in between, we have sirens out here that aren't working. We need to get those things fixed. So the government absolutely has to do their part, but we as individuals have to do ours as well. We cannot keep looking for somebody to come save us. We can look for someone to come and help us, but we gotta be prepared ourselves. Like anything else, it starts at home with us.
Thank you, Beth. And just a friendly reminder, we're going to continue our comments to no more than a minute so we can make sure that every voice gets heard. Go ahead.
My name is Edwin. So the slum, right? I live on Franklin Highway, between Go'uma Street, Go'uma Street and Latino Road, right? So Franklin Highway is right there, right? And at one point, right, both traffics, right, east and west, right, was stopped, right? And it made me think, I wonder why. And I think I know why. Those who reside in sea country, right? Literally, this is why the hotels call. They feared for their lives. But based on the tsunami maps, they were safe. There was a safe zone. They didn't mark Ohana, right in the back of it. That was danger, but again. And the thing is, there's tsunami maps. Not everybody knows there's tsunami maps, right? In fact, the cashier told me, oops, what is that, right? On the day after. Right? And like every beach, they're free now. There's a completely road going to each one, they're safe. There needs to be better communication, right? People need to understand before the event even happens. And this is my suggestion. You get the tsunami maps or whatever. Overlap that with the Boil Water Supply Service maps, right? People get delivered, right? They know exactly where you live. If your street goes east to west, you're on the mountain side, you're on the Makai side. Right? And vice versa if it goes wrong, right? So you can tell them in advance, before this even happens, put an insert in the billing system. Not every month, quarterly, right? Tell them, hey, based on our records, you're in a safe zone. Based on our records, you're in a red zone. Based on our records, which is so new, since 2015, you're in an extreme tsunami zone, which is yellow. What does that mean? I'm yellow. It sounds like I'm worse off, right? But actually, I'm not. And that's why you need to inform people in advance, just like Representative said. Make sure people understand, just like in school, right? I went to my elementary, right? If the fire, right? Everybody runs out, you know exactly where you're going, right? You know exactly, you're prepared. You're prepared for every month. So this needs to be prepared. The state needs to do a better job. And Hawaiian News now, I don't know if they hear now, they never helped anything at all. All day long, they was pumping this bugger up. We're going to get a dangerous way. We're going to die. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah, there's going to be destruction. And then in 717 came, oops, there was nothing there. The harbors had destruction. But the thing is, people gotta believe themselves. Gotta inform people. Right? These maps are factual. Right? And the thing is, there's two people I know there in the road, right? Those who's gonna accept the facts, and those who are gonna say, no, I don't believe. I don't believe. And there are people that didn't believe those maps are true, or they didn't even know they existed. Better communication for them.
Thank you so much for that comment. And again, just a friendly reminder, we're going to keep our comments to 1 minute going forward because we are in the last 10 minutes of our program tonight. And it's definitely consistent with what the results are showing. There's a 4 rating out of 10 in the way that the government responded to emergency preparedness, particularly the tsunami. We're going to get May here in the front, and I think Kelly has another comment. Okay, go ahead, May. Thank you so much for being here.
My name is Susanna, and I was born and raised in Waianae. And about the traffic, I was just hoping that, there was a wave where they started building homes. So you got the sea country was just exploding there, you got the affordable housing, but at no time did anybody think about the amount of traffic that it'll cause opening these new communities. So I'm hoping that, you up there would be able to kind of, especially with stop the building until we can get an access road to help the people who is here already. Because we're building all these homes, communities, but our highways was never expanded, or even we have another exit route to help us with escaping when there's a fire. Because you got the mountains, we got only one way in and one way out. So let's stop with this building until we get an access road so that the people are able to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, May. And before our reps comment on that, we've already started the next question. What are you aware of? The particular things, an evacuation route, your nearest evacuation shelter. This is still expanding upon emergency preparedness. You see the results being populated. Reps, do we have any comments to what we received from the audience?
Yes, I wanted to comment on that. I appreciate your comment regarding the tsunami warning, and thank God that we didn't have any serious consequences about that. I think it did really show the lack of preparedness that we have, the lack of communication, the areas that we need to really address and improve on. Actually, this week I have an informational briefing with Hailima, and they will be presenting some disaster preparedness discussions, and I will be taking good notes and bringing it back to my caucus so that we can be addressing this very important issue. So thank you for bringing it out.
Yes, and to echo what Rep is saying, these quantitative responses, our research team is then translating that into legislation or potential bills to determine what are the needs of the community. So you folks see that 68% of you are aware of your local evacuation route. However, 38% of you, but the least is where an evacuation shelter is located. So that is definitely important, valuable data. Do you have another rep who would like to comment on what we see here on the screen?
I just want to say, and echo what Rep. Rolder said, you know, the tsunami thing, that was an interesting evening for all of us watching, but there was a blessing out of it, and that was the Waianae Coast 9792 got to actually use Kole Pass for the first time in a long time. And that opened up flawlessly. Senator DeCord was in communication, Rep. Kila, Rep. Moroka, with the emergency officials, and the military opened it up, and lots of vehicles, lots of families took Kole out quickly, and that took off lots of congestion from Farrington Highway. So, you know, I'm glad that there is a good working relationship and that Kole is open in the event that some tragedy does hit.
And another to the question about our infrastructure. You know, Ever Beach faces the same problem too. We're building residential homes and businesses all in our community, but our infrastructure, like our roads, our schools. You know, Ever Beach right now have a future design to build a new high school right by a little farm area. But with the whole paved growing, that high school already is overfilling. Not only enough guys already, and they're going to flood back to campus. But I believe that the state should be working on building the highways bigger, our schools more bigger, for the fit the capacity that they see 10 years in advance instead of 10 years after. And we should look forward and, you know, finding all these solutions. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alquist. So we have reached the last portion of our program this evening, and that's the Q&A section. So we are going to cover all of the topics that were not discussed earlier. We're going to get 2 more comments from our audience members here, and then again 15 minutes for our open Q&A section on comments that on topics we have not yet covered. So let's go to Kelly and then to John.
Okay, Ross from Macau. Real quick with the traffic situation. I brought this question to Senator Samantha's talk story, and unfortunately I was addressing a administrator from the state, and this is probably a city-county issue, but recently, this past summer, an issue came up with redirecting some of the bus routes, particularly the Sea Country. And I can't swear to this, but the inference was to encourage rail riders. Now, there's a lot of people on the west side that depend on the bus routes, the 40, the Sea Country, the 401, 402, 403, and the 93. If you folks have any influence, and you're the bulldogs right here, if you folks have any influence on the bus rescheduling and all, don't do anything to upset the apple cart, you know. Our bus schedules are perfect, and a lot of people use them, including my wife and myself.
Thank you so much for the comment. Let's go to the back. I know you've been waiting patiently. Would you mind introducing yourself, sir?
If I feel so I have a question. I'm trying to write it down, but I can't keep from practice, so I'm just trying to help you out. How can the city and the state put out beaches, clean up beaches on like a PMS schedule instead of just doing it when it's either one is voting season and then just not doing it for the camera. I don't know if that makes sense. So, in other words, so we have the beaches, we have beach cleanup we're out back in May. That's the source. Right now, May, June, July, August, maybe September will be the next 4 months, so the next time we'll clean up the next beach. So I'm just kind of asking if how or what we can do to put that thing on schedule.
Thank you for the question. Rex?
I almost feel like I have to answer that since you mentioned my name.
State, county, not state.
But you're right. I would much rather not have to clean up the beaches. I would much rather have our laws enforced. Because if our laws were enforced, our beaches wouldn't have to be clean. But to touch on that, you know, you mentioned we cleaned over there in May. That was an effort strictly from my office. Because there is, you know, our councilwoman, she works as hard as she can, but it's beyond her reach. And anyone in my office can tell you there's systems like SPO meetings and they schedule them. So that's something that we don't have control of. But I can tell you this, there are volunteer groups out here that don't follow the schedule. If you want to lead one of those groups here in my office, I will support you 100%. And let's just go clean them. The problem is, we gotta watch what we do because entities like the DCLU get involved and turns. Good people trying to do good things, they make us the bad guys. But volunteer groups, you guys want to do it, everybody knows what my office is, reach out. You guys have my full 100% support.
Hello, my Kako, everyone. Pikachu, Shelby to be here live for all of you. I know you guys see me on Facebook. We do it professionally at the Capital. You guys all know how I love to call that place. But I wanted to discuss human trafficking and drug smuggling. You know, with my question. Actually, if you guys didn't know the backstory, actually, Chris Moroka is only crazy Hawaiian Portuguese who's a veteran to actually help write a bill for it, HB 483. We wrote it in January, meeting with the first couple weeks with the staff. But we didn't get past the second reading. So that's why I want to give you guys some backstory. So we're actually trying, honestly, I know Cheryl Beeler asked the question on behalf of me and Republicans to see if you guys could address the Lord Matsumoto stuff. So we want to address the bills on Capitol Hill. Well, you know what happens. Unless you've got a D next to your name for Democrat or Donkey, it doesn't get approved. For an example, SB 1249, we wrote with the Salcedos for Cranston Dupia. We had to write all that kukai, go through all that stuff. Elisha Perrick, you know. I can ask you guys a single question, but you know we're short on time, it's just a minute or less. But how can we use your guys' intelligence? You can grab all the mana'o from us on the listening tour with everyone. With David Alcos, love your brother. You guys got your stuff tomorrow and things going on. So how can we get bills passed on Capitol Hill to get stuff for the people that we need done? In all the districts, 247 precincts and 51 districts. Thank you very much.
Second for under a minute. Rex, any response? Go ahead, Rex. I'll go first and then you go.
To address some of the concerns, you know, I know it's not just about us, but it's also what for the Democrats as well, to have a good relationship with them also. It's not only, if we're getting a hard time passing the bill, you have to continue opening up an open relationship, having friends with the Democrat people as well. And maybe we can hear some of them, you know, help us push some of these bills that you're concerned about. You know, and
to fill a bill. Like Representative Garcia mentioned, there was a bill that had over 3,000 people submit testimony, and it's still valid. So I would encourage everybody to read that bill. And as Rep. Alphonse was saying, absolutely, we can build bridges with people across the aisle, work together. But there definitely needs to be a more of a balance in our capital.
Okay, we're going to do a comment in the audience. Go ahead. My name is Love. We appreciate you guys being here. We know that you're in an uphill battle with deep-rooted corruption. I feel like the answer, the root problem of everything is get a new governor and clean up the corruption. I digress. But now is the time for boldness, for change. We cannot afford to be the silent majority anymore. We just can't. Lest this beautiful state become unlivable. We are the ones who are here to conserve family, conserve biblical values. So we need to work with your volunteer army on that, and we need to stay in communication with you guys. At the last town hall here, I have to say it made my stomach turn listening to some of the, not you guys, but some of the government representatives coming and sit there and basically telling us, oh, trust the government. We wouldn't do anything untoward, right? Because that's never happened before. So all the while, Green is wielding his power like a weapon.
She from Florida.
So, you know, corruption and enslavement and stripping people of their rights, it doesn't belong to any one group. It can be done by anyone. No one owns oppression, right? It can happen to any of us if the right framework is put in place, which I am witnessing that being put in place now. So it looks a lot like what's going on now. So my question is that why are we allowing this to happen right under our noses, and how can we work with you guys better? Why are we being forced to go along with things we don't believe in, like stripping our land rights away, mutilating the children? We're looking for solutions, for answers, and for action. So we must be silent no more. So that's my appeal to you. Thank you for the question. One of our reps will respond to the question.
So 10 months ago, I was elected with a couple of my colleagues up here, and if I wasn't, I would be my 10th year teaching at Ohana. I testified for the first time in 2016, and I was on the Board of Education. If you guys don't know, teaching is not just about teaching, but our job is very political, because they talk about our job and make rules and laws and places that the Board of Ed and the House and the Senate committee members. And we take votes on things and we do it like that. So the reason why I'm saying that is that I wouldn't ask you guys to do something that I can do myself. And that is to make sure that your voice is heard. I will do it by myself and just be a teacher. Call me if you not agree, because now due to COVID, they allow us to testify online, right? So I know the drive sometimes is still downtown. What's worse is the parking. And so what I think that maybe people should do is sign up to the Capitol website. If you need help with that, you guys can contact Reverend Over's office, you can contact Brown, and I can help you guys with that. Testifying on paper, testifying in person, live, and in different areas. So there are different even state and city committees that they meet, different than the House, there's the City Council. I've done the Board of Ed, the City Council, the Neighborhood Commission, in the Capitol. And it just really depends on what your topic is. But what you want to make sure is that you're heard. So I ran for office to make sure that I was heard. And I hope you guys do that too.
So right now, our staff is actually going to pass out exactly what Governor Isidore is referring to, and that's how to get involved in the legislative process. We have these flyers here that are going to come around. It's a one-stop shop. We have Hawaiian House GOP, all the different ways
can get connected and stay engaged with us, as we have 5 more minutes left in the program. So if you guys pick this up, please, on your way out, and that will help you stay engaged. We look forward to seeing you in the legislative session that's happening in January, and the 3rd Wednesday of January. You guys are all welcome to join us for the opening day ceremonies. Any comments or questions in our final 5 minutes? Okay, right here in the front. Thank you again so much for your patience. We pray and hope that your voices were heard, and that our reps are going to stay in the room after the program. You can talk story with them, get their information, get their feedback. Go ahead, please introduce yourself.
Aloha. I'm Shelby, and this is my concern. We are 2 years post, right? And about 14, 15 months ago, we had a community chat with Hawaiian Electric. And basically their solution to potential fires is to shut down the power, right? No electricity. So my question is, why are they not addressing a preventative measure? Not just shutting off the power. I thought that was a temporary fix. You know, I still look along our roads. You see telephone lines still handy as it was 2 years ago. You still see poles that are leaning that still have not been removed and replaced. So I want to know, like, is there a committee that is holding them accountable? And, you know, they made hundreds of millions of dollars. I saw their profit and loss statement. There is no reason why they haven't been sending out workers to go and address all these things, fix all these things. So, yeah, is there anybody who's holding them accountable?
Great point. So, an electric company can become safer when they get their electric poles and come underground. And so, that's not their biggest priority right now because they've got a different priority. The majority of us, the Democrats, they told them, hey, 2045, we want this state to become mostly or all renewable energy. So, pursue that pie in the sky goal that's unattainable. Yeah, you can't survive as a state on solar panels and windmills. We're going to consume that energy so fast that there's no wind, there's no sun, boom, what do we do about it? So they're chasing this wild dream created for them by the Democrats, and they don't have the resources and money, I guess, to put the poles on the ground. So that's what we're doing.
My name is James, and it's pretty much what you guys have pretty much answered. Well, is there a way to stop that bill that they in the year 2045 go zero emissions? It's really impossible, but is there a way to stop that? Because I know that's like what I say, that's like Democrats' dream. Anybody can answer that question. Is it possible to stop turning that around?
Sorry, yes, James. Great question, great point. So that bill actually passed years ago. So this law has been in effect for years. It was 2035, I think now it's 2045, but it's just not realistic, and I guarantee it's not going to happen. The only way to change that is through the legislature. So the legislature would have to change that. But I tell you, here's 8 of us, there's 51 House members. In the Senate, you got 25 senators, 3 minority members. So the imbalance is there. And so to answer your question, yes, it can change, but it has to go through the legislature. So we need all of you people to knock on the doors, call your legislators, and help make that change happen. In fact, contact Red Moral, Anthony Ford, Larry Steele. They're wide open to discuss this very issue. I saw a recent video from Red Steele on this very specific subject, so go top story.
Thank you so much. And so we are, do you have one more follow-up? What's the left?
I just want to thank all you guys. I see all you guys fighting in the Capitol for us. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Before I end this with our closing comments, I know we're coming to an end of our program this evening, but this is not the end of the listening tour. We still have 2 more locations throughout the week. Tomorrow is going to be at Evelyn Middle School. So if you want more, and especially if you live on this side, just jump right over to Evelyn We'll see you there tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And then we'll be in Red Billionaire's district on Friday. So more information on Hawaiian Hospitality as well as our Instagram. But I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening. We pray that your voices truly were heard. And I'm going to toss it to Rep. Ohana for closing comments for this evening. Mahalo again.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. The representative of the state, somebody from a different district,
So as the representative for the best state, I'm continuing to say that. I just wanted to thank you guys all for coming out, and tonight was all about how we can make our state better, how we can hold our state accountable, how this caucus sitting in front of you can draft our legislation coming up in January. But I do want to remind you folks, something near and dear to my heart is District 45. So continue to come out to my monthly meetings. That's where we go community specific. The next one is on September 12th at the Ohana Cafe. I take what you guys give to me back to my team, and then we see how problems and solutions from our community can help theirs. So continue coming out every month. I love to see everybody, and thank you for coming.
Okay, everyone, that's it.
They get late. You can go. You gotta go.
Okay, you guys gonna leave. We're all available for top story if you want to indulge, get more clarification.
Selfies.
You guys want to eat? There's some food outside.
Go. Yeah. You're gonna get late before you all leave. You can't leave yet. And you gotta stay for selfies. Everyone come.
We need them on our side.
Oh, nakain can be on board.
Yeah?
This military thing. Oh, they're crying.
That whole van. You know, I know, but make it clean also. secret ordinance and stuff.
That's part of the deal, right? That's part of the...
Don't make it big. We hate to you're trying to test whether you're better and they just been ignoring you, right? Like we're seeing so many people we need to No, I don't mean outside like that. Very good. You can blow them off out the floor. For sure. Lower it. I'm like, lower that rate. Yeah. I'm not saying. And they brought all these things. A lot of people. You don't have soda. You get friends over and generate this stuff.
got Shimizu. But the man he brought his boogie board to church to show his story. Did you hear him explain the story? He told me he was going to explain it, but I didn't hear him explain it. We got David Alcos there, Julia Reyes Otis up there, Chris Marca there, Amy King. At least the Asians connect. David Alcos talking. Great questions. Step out to the court. Uncle Austin, any comments you want to say on our camera? Live. Everything going on now. Diamond and Darius, so cute together. Much love. We got the beautiful ladies in the house. Auntie Jody, she has more sparkling stuff. You know, they should be. If I was female, they'll bedazzle my glasses too. My God, they know how to do it here. There you go. Royal Order, Commandment in the house. Oh my God. Everybody here. Cake already chilling. Two handsome men. Amy talking to Samantha. We're gonna prep the gear. Looks like we're wrapping up now. Cleaning out. We gotta get some selfies before we go. $4.42. We're going back to the war. Blanca right here. We're gonna get a selfie. Blanca, quick selfie. You can join us too. All the great hard work with the ladies. We're live streaming the whole thing. You can follow me on Facebook. We're live streaming your testimony on there. Yours is there. Chee-hoo! All right. The best part of all this, I think you're going to answer any of our questions. You went to human trafficking church, and I'm like, pick up latte. I'll give you a sour cream, but no guacamole. That's it. It's such a blanco answer. And here we go again. How do you feel?
What do you run as a Republican? Because you know the issue.
Because they already ran $3 million to RNC and we sued them. Carl Dix.
You sue the Republican Party. Yeah, but he, like you.
To watch you for war.
Is that why you organize and you don't?
Yes, my own party. I'm gonna ride double. I'm gonna ride check. We're still live for all of you. Last week Friday.
We have a lot of trafficking and child trafficking in Hawaii. Why did they not do it?
Oh yes, this is yours.
Thank you. So what the heck is going on?
We don't need her. Chigu, you guys all spy. Okay, I gotta go back filming. We still filming live stream. That's bonus. Everyone talking story. Okay, we're gonna grab some pictures. We're gonna grab some selfie time.
Explanation. I appreciate your
passion,
your daily journey. Which,
oh yeah.
It's an hour. But in the early days, it's an hour. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Shimi, it's a pleasure. Run our live stream real quick. You know, I'm professional at this. You only got to give me 30 seconds or a minute or less.
I know you're so on time, you know.
Oh, definitely. I didn't have my stopwatch today, but thank you for coming out here, all the west side from traffic and beyond. I know you're listening and watching like Diamond about the Office of Elections meeting. I didn't get a chance to add to the I wanted to just speak for you. So now we got a chance to ask you, what is your all these thoughts about the corruption, the fraud, malfeasance on the election commission?
I think there are definitely legitimate concerns and they need to be pursued. And I hope that whatever came out today's pig for the Big Island, the recommendations that were made, that if something doesn't happen within the commission or with the Office of Elections, I'm committed as a concerned citizen and a state representative to pursue it on my end.
Because everyone's going to run for office again. I'm concerned, for the future citizens who want to run for office or younger generations. What's the point if we don't get any bills passed? If you go to our next to name as the Republican, they don't pass it. You get stuck in the chairs. We didn't get to hash it out even though I addressed the issue today. I'm really concerned because I can talk all day long, some testimonials all day long. We know sometimes they don't really care. But I want to give a hope or a future. That's where the Pikachu glasses sometimes, so they don't give a pie. I want to take off these glasses and look some brown Filipino Mexican. I don't care how I feel, but because I know you care, you're a Lions Club member. You're actually listening to the long ass meeting from 10 o'clock till goddamn 1 o'clock, and you can hear it hashed it out. But is there anything that we can do to help you? Meaning that you're a rep. Chris told me that you can only write 10 bills this legislative session coming up. That means you only got 10 times. So I got Chris for one, human trafficking and drug smuggling. Is there anything we, the public, or me, Pikachu, can help you to address, to write more bills? Because I got AI, and I can advocate. So anything we can do to help you guys address these issues?
Well, if you have a specific bill, if you have a specific bill regarding election integrity that we can draft and introduce, I'd be more than happy to entertain it. But short of that is pursuing the election commission findings with the two pigs, the Kauai one and the Big Island one. Something got to be done. It's an internal problem that's bigger than any one legislation. It's an internal problem that's happening.
Because it's federal, right? Above state, right?
Well,
federal mail fraud.
I guess it's connected to that if that is the case. But at this point, I think we just deserve a legitimate audit, investigation, and reasonable explanations. And if everything pans out and if there's a good explanation, then that's fine. But right now, we don't have any explanation. So I don't want to jump to conclusions and make any accusations. But I believe that full-on investigation to come up with good answers to these concerns is warranted. The people deserve that, so that we can trust in the election process. It's not a political issue. It's not a party issue. It's a justice issue for everyone that votes.
まあもし日本語が分かったら郵便局は侵入ができねえよ。絶対裏切りがやってるから。だから英語が分かったら大丈夫。もし日本語が分かってないもう大丈夫だよ。二人が大丈夫だよ。だからなんか正義の味方が必要ある。We need the believers in justice. If you've been in Japan, you must believe in what we're doing. So this guy's not the Justice Department. He's legislation. We have the triangle for executive, Josh Green, judicial, but we need to put it all together. So if we want to keep our people in office or the future generations, that we can put some accountability together and give them hope. The job only pays $70,000 a year. Hopefully it can pay them more. And you guys deserve every single penny. Because you guys get to deal with all our emails. You got to do all of our complaints. I can't believe this guy listens to all of our stuff from January to May all the time. I could never do it. You got to pay me 6 figures to listen to all of our complaints and read all those stuff. Any closing words you want to say to our people who was watching?
Election integrity and homelessness are the two top issues that I'm pursuing right now, and I want to address that more than anything.
Sweet. Will you be attending tomorrow's event in Ever Beach?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I'll probably be attending as well with David Alcos. You know, when everyone talks, I can tell that he's different. First is, this is his speech, but everyone, is here. But I want to ask all you guys a single question. Pikachu wants to pick and choose. But that's where we do the after talk story where it's more fun. You can see the family, you can see the kids. That's why it's a little more Japanese than normal to all of you. Because they only get 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute max when we're in the capital.
3 minutes. Some chairs will give you 1 minute. Yeah. So thank you, Shelby, Billionaire Pikachu, for your activism, your concern, and your heart. We need more people like him. You out there, get involved, because it is your government, it is our island, our community, our Aina, and we got to do it together. We can't do it alone, so thank you.
Chiku, Okaki, makes the world a better place. So I'm going to let this guy go. Family's here. Chiku, we love the Kazuko. Kazuko, which is Ohana and family. If you guys know Japanese to Nihongo, to Hawaii go. Yeah, you. Chiku, aloha. We got David Alcos. We got everyone chilling. We're still rocking and rolling. Joe Gideon right there. Handsome man. Look at that. Okay, looks like we're wrapping up, closing up shop. Brother Man brought his whole boogie board still here. Salcedo's talking story. Look at that. They do exist. Great stuff you said online. But just like my question, they don't answer. It was a kind of a blase. I'll give you sour cream, but no guacamole on your taco. You don't get no tomato.
In this format, that's the thing. It's hard in this format. We need that
interaction.
Vibe, right?
No, we need some cake. We need some barbecue. We need a beach, so you can all get the straight answers. Not this.
Yeah.
Where's the Epstein files? We've seen those questions. The Republican meetings in New York, Texas, Oklahoma is way more up-tempo than ours is. Blase.
But at least they're here. And it's a start, and we gotta keep it rolling, guys.
See, you listen to the Anglo-Saxon ladies, and they are correct. We're keeping the name of Jesus, whatever you believe in. And she's from Florida. High five. Boom. Free state. Exactly. I don't think they pay taxes. I agree with them. Why can't we copy Florida?
Yeah, model this after.
Yeah, kissing me. We got Disney here. They can kiss in my cola. You guys know how I feel about that. Listen to the ladies. No ladies, no babies. They're going to talk to Julie Reyes-Oda. We're going to be wrapping up. Oh, Chris still talking story. We ain't never ending this night. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Oh, Jennifer, we're still in live. Great job today with the Office of Elections Commission meeting. That was from 10 to 1. And this is a special live stream for all of you ladies, for all the guys, for everyone who's watching, pay attention. Did they answer all your questions? Probably not. Do they have the ability to write bills? Yes. So other representatives, not senators. Senators have unlimited bill writing abilities. which is why you should be a senator, not a rep if you run for office. It's still running up every 2 years for rep, senator every 4 years, so you stay longer. So whether you like Samantha DeCourt or not, you still have to work with your senator for the next 4 years, so 3.5. For a rep, it comes every 2 years, and so they only have 10 bills to write. Oh, I got a handsome man. Come here, Elijah. Let's get a closing out. We're doing a special live stream. He's taller than me.
Hello to
So we're on
people
our
that are
Facebook.
watching. You can click them.
Yeah. We're in the live stream
Where's
now.
Jennifer Cabrera?
So we just filmed Joe Gideon with David Alcos. We'll probably have like 100, a few hundred views tomorrow. Now, I know you said the other day about capital punishment. We want to address Epstein files and these issues, and I agree with you and some of our fans who are veterans. And so what can we do to help you? I was telling our fans in Facebook land that they don't know that the next legislative session, you can only write 10 bills as a rep, right? And senators have a limited bill writing abilities, which means you got 10 topics. What do you feel like you can address, and how can the public help you to help write bills to get stuff done?
Thank you. With regards to writing bills, we have a House Minority Research Office, and they can draft our bills for us. The Legislative Reference Bureau can draft our bills. When it comes to input, feel free to email us, call us, talk to us in person. When it comes to our bills passing, well, that takes more Republicans in office to pass the bills that come from Republicans, or it takes us partnering with a Democrat. The Democrat sells the idea to a bunch of other Democrats, and they vote the bill up into power in the law.
Now, is there like 3 main issues that you feel? I know you put it on the TV, crime, homelessness, houses, but coming from you, we don't need 7 or 8 of you writing the same bills on Capitol Hill because you have selected to 10. What's something from your heart that you feel that you want to pass coming next session?
Well, there's what's from my heart, and there's also me reflecting the community's issues. So the community's issues primarily would be crime, cost of living, education, traffic, things like that. And then in my heart, I grew up with that, but also in addition, it's God will prosper us when we're righteous. And so if we're wicked, we're going to be cursed. So if we have wickedness being legalized and promoted, LGBTQ, abortion, we're going to be cursed as a state, and we're going to be economically impoverished. If we make abortion illegal, if we make sex change surgery for children illegal, we're going to be blessed to an extent. And from that perspective of servanthood and blessing the populace, that says let's not be tyrannical and tell you how we're going to be blessed, or I shouldn't even use that term. We're not going to tell you how to have your services. Basically, we're going to take your taxes, and then we're going to give you government services. Instead, let's say you keep your money. We believe in your autonomy. We believe in your individualism, and go ahead and use your money how you want. And we're going to decrease taxes and increase freedom. And I think that's what I support.
So, in Kanaka terms, you want to make sure if you're going to get taxed, you have representation, do things properly, the U.S. Constitution, have your civil rights liberties, because that's the American way. But also have the heart of Ponoism, Lokahi HRS 5-7.5, Akahai Lokahi Olu Ha'a, and Ahonoi. So follow us online. You can follow him on Instagram. He's doing more cooler shit on Instagram than me sometimes. And we'll see him next time in session, and we'll be in touch because he has his staff. They have opening legislation day. I gotta tell, this guy has a great ice cream and great food. January 17th, you come stop by his office. You gotta come early. They always got great stuff. So thank you, Elijah. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming out because they have to fight traffic on the back. Ever Beach traffic sucks. That is really bad. You're gonna be there tomorrow, right? We'll see him tomorrow. And we got Darius Keela. You guys all still tuning with Darius and Chris talking story now. Oh, Samantha DeCourt. Everyone's all spying. So Pikachu gonna show the camera and spy too. You guys can listen in and spy. Auntie Jody. Chris, this is how we get real stuff done. So they're pretty much just jibber jabbering as the world turns. gonna keep going until we go outside church and see if we can capture. So we have to work with Darius for our DOT, for our transportation one-stop pass. He's the chair for DOT. At least Chris and the staff is all talk their story, relaxing. Samantha the court, talking story, what's going down. Elijah.
What's up there?
How you doing?
Looking good, Shazy.
Good. Love to see you, handsome. We don't have so much crap here. Anything you want to say on our Facebook live stream? Great job, Chris. See, he's going to talk to Chris. He brought the boogie board. Blanca. Darius. We would love some. We have our handsome man right here, chair of DOT. I don't care what anyone tells me. You better clear his secretary and his staff. Now, we had yours recently.
Right.
You had this one, we had Samantha's. What are your honest views? How can we all work together to get stuff done for the West Side?
Well, I think just largely knowing your communities. I also think understanding legislation is not crafted during the session, it's crafted during the interim. And this is the point where you're working with folks. If you're showing it to the, I will say the Duke Granted Via bill is lightning in the bottle.
That's
that does not happen.
That does not happen.
So
that is very
it's
rare.
in this interim where you really are hashing out the ideas. And it's also just important to continue to stay engaged, right? Because I think it's super important, just as us as legislators, to know that the electorate cares. Because I think it's also important to know what matters to us here. There are parts of this state that it doesn't matter to them, but things that matter to them don't matter to us here. Right? So
issues.
How do we? Many issues, but just trying to find that middle ground of, okay, this is something we can agree on, how do we move it forward. So, it's good. I mean, a lot of these things we talk about, I definitely think there are many of our colleagues who know, but it's important to draw that cross connection. Like every time I go talk somewhere, when I know that they're not my constituents, I engage them and I remind them, if you don't know your legislator, you need to go home and introduce yourself to them. Whether it's via email, whether it's through a social media channel, but also we have to move things from the social media medium into an email, into a letter. Right? For me, I drive home the email communication.
You know how hard it is. And some people don't do it.
It's hard.
We show up for the day, there's one testimony and it's Pikachu only or some other random person.
Because those are living documents for us to track those things, right? And I feel bad when I tell people, please call my office or please email me instead, because I cannot keep track of it.
You can't do it alone.
Yeah. So, but this is super good. September 10th will be at Nanakuli Library at 6 p.m. with Department of Transportation Services and Department of Transportation.
So, going to a better
That's county and state.
How do we help you get stuff done for DOT since you're the chair? For example, people have showed me the speed bumps in Europe. They go like a solar panel and the thing goes down. It's not like you're spending X amount to put a bump and do the unions to put the things up. Is there other creative ways or bills we can do to help get stuff done for the West Side? Because it's one way in, one way out. We can talk about Colin Pass all day long, but since you're the chair, maybe you can better answer this question so we can sit around and get it done. Because you got bills passed. You guys didn't know, this guy, the youngest legislator, got bills passed for us. Not the Republicans. Not anyone on stage. This young, handsome guy got it done.
It's teamwork. But I think largely we can look at technology that exists, but I always need to remind folks, like what works in Texas may not work in Hawaii, what works in Hawaii may not work in Europe. The hard part, I think we always have to understand is we're not just in the middle of the ocean, we're next to the Pacific Ocean, and this is salt water, right?
Tsunami,
things degrade
things rust
differently way here in Hawaii. So I think like some of those technologies are super great. Like I've seen speed bumps that are integrated that are used by speed mitigation and that they track how fast you're going and then I'll deploy a speed bump.
Boom.
But I also think about like the upgrade and maintenance for that. It would be significant, right? So I want to find creative technologies, but also a technology that's reasonable for where we're at.
Many students in the high school.
You heard it straight from him, so thank you, Darius. And we'll see him September 10th.
September 10th. And not included
We'll see you September 10th. Look who else is stuck here. This guy's stuck here too with all the other Republicans.
It was started by someone.
That's Diamond Garcia. So we're gonna try to grab Chris Moroka. This is his talk story session. They're in prayer now, right here. We're already expecting prayer. Catholic style. The man right now. James. Well, yeah. Well, he's talking story with the crew. That's our boards too. As you all know, we're gonna be outside, give them some space, let them get their personal stuff done. We're gonna close up the church. And I will let you all know I'm proud when Mesana actually speaks up, because she doesn't have to. Even though she's in Diamond's office of the staff, and I'm gonna let you know a little secret. If you don't stop by their staff office, they got great soda, great chips, nuts. These nuts is really good. If you stop by their office, you really care. And as long as you're straight and real, and I appreciate when other staff members would come out and testify, because Philip Gunnaban does not do that. Just let you all know, Philip's gone. He's Alabama. He's free. And any final words you want to say? Now we're doing the after story. Nothing after the hubbala, bubbala, no answer question, no bills done.
Well, I
What
was
is your
just
honest
saying
thoughts?
that we need to halt building transitional homes, new communities, until we have an alternate route. Because, like Sea Country, that's 400 more extra cars added.
Yes.
Then you get the affordable housing, the Makana o Nanakuli, that's another 100 cars.
In and out.
In and out. So let's do the road first, and then we build. Give us an access road.
Right, you get some infrastructure, and ingress and egress. And even though she was straight, when we're in the crowd the way enough, we got a minute or less to get your point across, say whatever you got to say. But then I didn't feel my question was honestly addressed. I don't think hers was honestly addressed as well. And we know when it's called balderdash, which is English for. But here we are in the church in the name of God, so we can't say too much. All right, roger that. I love you. Okay, we're moving on. Bye. Love you. Bye. Still good. We're on the live stream. Mr. B. We still got food. We got free food. Look at that. Yeah, you. Musubis to go. Eat that fresh. Heck yeah. Chicken. How funky is your chicken? How loose is yours? How loose is yours? Heck yeah. Salcedo's here. Look who stayed. Right. The #1 lady who made all these beautiful musubis. Take some home, eat it fresh. Yeah.